Hello and welcome to lesson 15 and one of the exercises videos here, and so this will be our last exercise video for lesson 15, and we are here in the so-called accumulated exercises, where we are using the vocabulary and grammar from all the lessons that we up to now have gone through. And in this lesson we will do 6 translation sentences, or actually groups of sentences, because on each line we have 2 or 3 sentences in English where we are going to transform it into Devanagari. If you want to do these exercises before I start doing them, you can stop the video now and just take a sheet and write them down, copy them down by hand, and there is another sheet, also sheet B4, which I'll show you now, which you also can. I'll keep this up for 5 seconds now before we continue here. Alright, so let's start solving these, and in all these steps, as usual, we always do our eswo line first, so we convert to English but with the Sanskrit word order, so we get a feeling for the word order in Sanskrit. Alright, so we'll start here. Today, the adverb today is mostly starting off the sentences, and we have the two thieves, and we're grouping them together because in Sanskrit we say everything in one word. And then we have a verb come here, and we are clarifying that. They two come. And here we have the conjunction and, which in this case is a word type of and, connecting come and go. So and must go after go. So we do the going now. They two go, and we put the and there. And this is and since we only use one and in the Sanskrit, we are using syntax A. If we were to use two, and we would put the other one here, but that would be syntax B. So then but we do the most simple thing here. We just put one and. Oops, better shift our colors here back to the black. And then we do the Brahmin sentence here, the Brahmin in one group there, and then he sees. Now we are sort of prepared for converting to Sanskrit here. So today is adya, and we have one thief, chauraha, but two will be chaurau. Then we have a verb coming, it's about coming. Agachati. But now they are two, and it's third person dual. So third person they and dual the two there, so it becomes gotcha to her. And we do the same thing with the going. That's simply the opposite without the long in front there. Coming and going. Gotcha to her. Cha. End of sentence, and then the Brahmin. We want the Brahmin there, a single Brahmin. Brahman. Marna. And what is he doing? He's seeing something. So pashyati there. Pashyati. So that's not okay. So we should have semicolon there also to be consistent with our system here. So we just render this in Devanagari. Chow Rao. And the long here, two vertical strokes. Gach. Gotcha to her. Reasonable, okay, and then we just have the gotcha to her. Something like that. Cha. Cha. End of sentence, and then we have the bra. Bra. Then we have this conjunct H and an M. Ma. And then the retroflex N, na, and then the visarga there. And we have pashyati. And end of sentence. So adya chaurau agachatah gachatah cha brahmanah. Brahmanah pashyati. So we should be careful with our retroflex N in brahmanah pashyati. Okay. Number 2, there is a boy named Rama. And we do our eswo here. And this is typical starting off with a existential announcement here. There is, once upon a time there was. It's a storytelling device here. There's a boy, we group them together, and here we have this type of sentence where we are naming something explicitly. So then we know that in Sanskrit the word for named is always It's enclitic, and it's always placed after the name itself. So we know that the Sanskrit order then will have to be Rama named. And then he speaks. He as a pronoun there, a lonely pronoun, and the verb comes there with its implicit subject there. But we always do this out of practice. We have our system up and running, so we don't take any shortcuts here on the eswo line, because we want to make it explicit what the Sanskrit verb contains. He eats. And here also we have this, as in the first case here, we have an and of type A here, because we only use one, and we shouldn't use our no commas in the Sanskrit. So he speaks, he runs. Okay, he speaks, he runs, he eats, and. All right. And then we do our Sanskrit here, first in the form of our transliteration. Asti. So this is an initial asti, where we do our declaration there is. And we have the indefinite article here in the English noun, just because it's a typical introduction to something we haven't mentioned before. So there is a boy. So it's just one boy, Balaha. It's a boy, Balaha. Ramaha. And then we use Nama here as usual. Nama. Okay, end of sentence. And we usually see here also that this Balaha here corresponds to Ramaha here. So they are both in the nominative singular. And we continue with he, Saha, and he speaks, so it's Vadati, and it's running here, Dhavati, and it's eating, Khadati, and Echa. Okay, and then we do it in Devanagari here to just be complete. Ramaha. Nama, and there's a long ah there in the first it's not nama but nama. Okay, end of sentence. Saha Bharati Dhahavati Khadati Cha. End of sentence. Saha Vadati Dhavati Khadati Cha. Alright, let's move on to number 3 here. Here are Dasharatha and the 2 servants. And let's see where my pointer is gone. There it is. Alright, so here in this exercise we see that we have a number 1 here at the word here, and that indicates that we want to use the variant in the translation, the Sanskrit variant number 1. So this is so in the number here we are referring always to a synonym, and we may so the word here, we have already defined 2 synonyms, and we want to be sure here that we select the first synonym, which was introduced I don't know, maybe lesson 8 or something like that. Let me see here, where no, it's lesson 7. But we didn't, at the time we didn't call it number 1 there, but that's the origin. Okay, so let's start doing our eswo line as usual. We do our here 1 here then. And the verb, as usual, we have to move it, so we we put Dasharatha or no, put Dasharatha there instead. Dasharatha here, Dasharatha. And then so the R, let's do that then. The R has to go at the very end. But then we have an and here also, and the and I'm now assuming that we are using syntax A here. So I'm assuming that we do, and which means that we only want 1 and expressed in the Sanskrit, 1 cha. So that and must come also at the end, but not at the very end, but right after the 2 servants. So we have to line up our we do the grouping of the servants, that whole expression there, and then comes the and right after that, and then comes the verb at the very end, and which we are clarifying as they all are. That's also perhaps not immediately obvious, but we have talked about this before, that here we have one person here, and here we have two persons here, and we do have a conjunction, so we could say mathematically we are adding them together, right? We don't have an or here, because if we were to have an or here, it would be different. But now we have an and here. So we are adding them up. So 2 servants plus 1 dasharata, that gives us 3 persons, and 3 is plural. So they all are. So that fits. Okay, good. Now let's go on here. They speak. And who are they? Well, we presume here, I mean, it could be the 2 servants who are speaking and remembering. But I think the most natural way to interpret this is that they all speak. So it's both Dasharata and the 2 servants that all speak. So at least it's not Dasharata who's only speaking. So we know that, because that's singular, and they are not singular. So it doesn't say he speaks and remembers. So they speak. So it must be either both the 2 servants or all of them. Okay, so but I'm going here with they all, referring to all 3 of them. They all as a pronoun, and then we are clarifying the verbs. They all speak. They all remember. All remember. And like that. And end of sentence. And then we have this here, one here then. So how should we translate this? Well, we should choose variant number 1, synonym number 1, which is atra. We could use iha also, if we would have had here number 2, variant 2, but we don't have that. So we choose atra. And then we do our dasha rata. And in transliteration, as in Devanagari, we don't have any big letters, we only have small letters. And we are now interested in dasaha, as servant, but actually we have 2 servants, so we have to make it into dasau. And we have 1 lonely cha at the end there, linking dasharata with the dasau. And then we have the verb they all are, as 3rd person plural, santi, end of sentence, and then they all. So they all. But here I have not been clear enough. I should have written they all masculine. I have to change that in my manuscript as well. Let's see. They all Okay. And they all speak and they all remember, that's no problem there, but they all am, because we have three different pronouns. If they were feminine, we would have written something else, and if they were to be neuter, it would yet another Sanskrit word for that. So we have to know it's a masculine grammatical gender there, because Dasharatha is a man, and because we have masculine, and Dasau represent Dasaha, which is also masculine grammatical gender. It's also masculine biological gender, but that's not what our consideration regards. So we could have that's a long story for how to think about that. All right, anyway, so they all am te, and so they're doing some speaking, so we know it's a varati, but we want it plural, varanti, and same smarati, but we want smaranti instead. Third person plural. And then we should not forget our last cha there. And then we just render this up in atra. Dasha atra. Dasau. Cha. Santi. Like that. Te. Vedanti. Smaranti. Cha. Atra dasharata dasau cha santi te varanti smaranti cha. Okay, so that's half of our exercises, and now we can go on to B4 sheet here. So here we see we have a here too. The first exercise here, so we do our eswo first here. Here too, the adverb starts the sentence. We're grouping the farmers, and we presume that they are many, so it's Sanskrit plural we are shooting at. And what else? So if it's plural, then they all sit when we are clarifying the verbs. They all sit, they all eat. Oh, we shouldn't have commas in the eswo line there. And of course here we have also another and here where we we haven't specified what kind of syntax we are asking for here, but since we haven't done that, I'm assuming A, because that's the most simple. It's just the and at the end there. So they all eat, they all drink, and like that. That's the and a syntax. There the two goats run. So we have another adverb here starting the next also there, and we're grouping the noun, the two goats, and we are finishing off the they two run. Period. Full stop. End of sentence. Okay, whatever we call it. And here number 2 then, if we go back here, start our translate line. Translate. So we have iha now, since that's synonym number 2. And the farmers, they are the kru sha koha, but now we have many of them, so we have ah at the end there instead. The many farmers, they all sit. Okay, so we have sitting, sidati, but many, sidanti. They all eat. We have kadati, but many are long ka danti. And we have drinking, pibati, but many pibanti. And we have our cha at the end there. End of sentence. And there, tatra, the two goats, we have one goat is chago, but two are chagao. So the two goats there, they too run. So we have dhavati, running, he runs, but now we have two dhava taha instead. Right, so let's just do our ha there. We have our kru, we have our sha, ka. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's a long a. Kaha. Okay. Krishakaha. Si Danti. And we have pibanti as well. They do many things. Not. They need some variety, I guess. Pibanti. Okay. And we have our conjunction cha here. And we are having our adverb tatra, our dual noun here, cha, go, and our plural verb, da, what, the. Third person plural, present, indicative, and all that. But everything we've done so far here in the course, we have talked, it's all present, because there are so many forms of verbs and the nouns, so we have to limit the, we have to we have to take it gradual. We have, this is not, it's a quite a big undertaking to learn everything in Sanskrit. So we're taking it easy, and we're having fun along the way, and we're enjoying the process. It's not about any end goal here. This is like a constant exploration and enjoyment of understanding more and more day by day. So alright, so number 2. Today the king speaks. And let's start our grouping. We do our eswo first. We do our today the king, he speaks. And the fathers, they all remember. So we do our clarification of the verb as usual, and then transliteration in Roman characters. Okay, so we have adya, adya. Today, adya. Nripa. And he speaks vadati, right? Vadati. And the fathers, so one father is Janakaha, but many would be Janakaha. Janakaha. And remembering smarati, but plural, we have many fathers, so we have to use a smaranti instead, third person plural. We should use semicolons in transliteration. And deva, at last, adya. Adya. Nripaha. Vadati. Vadati. Oh, we should have a stroke up there also. Adya Nripaha Vadati. And we have the father Janakaha, but they are many, Janakaha, like that, and then they are doing the remembering, Smaranti. Should be, this stroke here should actually go down quicker there, so something like that just okay, back to the black, and that should Adya Nripaha Vadati Janakaha Smaranti. Okay, and now to our last sentence. So we're grouping, we're doing our eswo, the two boys, they two ask. The teacher, and he speaks as clarification of the verb. And now they two as a pronoun then, and then they two clarification of the verb, they two know, like that. Okay, and we do our transliteration. So we have one balaha, but we have two boys, not just one. So balao, the two boys, and they two ask. So it's about prichati, but what's the ending? Oh, we'll have two. It's a dual third person, we're talking about them. So prichataha, right? And that's the end of that sentence. And then we're having a single teacher, charyaha, and he's speaking, so it's simply vadati there, third person singular. And now we have our adhunau. Aduna, okay. They two as a pronoun here, tau, they two m, we should say, they two m, I have to now they two m, tau, and they two know. So we have bodhati, but we have to adjust that to two persons, bodhataha, two persons and third person. And now we write it out in Devanagari Balau. Oh, whoops. Long A. Balau. Balau. Prit. Oh, not the long A there. I should just erase a little there. Pritcha. Taha. End of sentence. Cha. Yaha. Vadati. And Aduna. Tau. Bo. Da. Taha. I think that should do the trick. End of sentence. Balau Pritchataha Acharyaha Vadati Adhuna. No, Adhuna. Short in the beginning there, long A at the end. Adhuna Tau Bodhataha. Okay, yeah. I think that's sums it up, and I hope you have enjoyed this exercise, and I'll see you hopefully in the lesson 16 that we're starting in the next video. Have a good day and see you later. Bye bye.